What's up everybody, I'm Alberto, this is Cast with Horror, and I wanted to make this small video to share something interesting that I did recently. So I watched this video here on YouTube that was basically somebody comparing horror covers from the past and horror covers now on books, like on novels, and just explaining how like now in modern days the novel art is kind of generic and doesn't really give you that feeling of like what a horror novel would have gave you back in the day. And I just found it very interesting because realistically the last time I probably read a book was mostly like 10 years ago. In my entire life I really didn't read that much, and if I did read, it was always like horror stuff. That was the thing that always caught my eye. I remember being in school, like high school, middle school, whatever it was, whenever I was assigned to have to read books, I'd always go to the section and try to find something horror, because I knew that would be the only way I'd actually could sit there and look at a page and read. So I haven't done it in a long time, obviously, you know, I'm bringing up school and stuff like that, so that's been a long time since I've done that. One main quote that he said in the video that I was just like, ooh, that feeling, yeah, I was like, I forget about that. But basically he's talking about like holding a horror book like back in the day and that cover, you know, and it's like, yeah, I used to feel that all the time, you know, specifically, you know, these aren't like amazing, you know, these are children's books I'm about to mention, but like R.L. Stein books like the Goosebumps and a whole bunch of like, I feel like there's other R.L. Stein ones I remember, but I don't know. But there's a lot of like little horror books I remember when I was younger. And I just remember just even holding these things, like just looking at them, like it was like it just felt, you felt something. You felt like some type of spooky power. Like this thing is holding back a crazy story. Like it lives within these pages, you know. You know, I'm not an avid reader at this point right now, so I can't really give you that feeling how it feels now with these like, you know, generic looking covers or whatever. But I could only imagine like it probably doesn't feel the same, especially like from some of the covers you're showing. I was like, wow, these do look kind of like lame. So yeah, so that prompted me to buy 2 books, and these 2 books I ordered them on Amazon. So I used Amazon for the actual reason it was made for, which was ordering books. So that was my first time ever. I've never done that in my life. But these 2 books are from Grady Hendrix. One of them is a book, and the one of them is a novel, I think. So I think the first one, it's called Paperbacks from Hell, and it's about kind of like what that video was about, like talking about the covers of these books and stuff like that. And then also the other book is a novel by him. I forget what it's called. We'll see right now when I open the package. Yeah, I wanted to give it a fair shot. You know, I kind of wanted to get back into reading, because I think the main thing I want to get back into reading is because it's like, man, I'm on my phone way too much, like way too much. You know, on reading, I'm still gonna have my head down or whatever. I'm still focused on something, but at least it's not a screen. That's like the main thing. So that's why I bought them physically. I didn't, you know, I could have went the route of buying them like the ebooks or whatever, or using Audible or whatever, you know, if those were available there. I just didn't want to do that route because, again, I think I'm all technologied out for right now, especially screens and stuff. Like, I'm good for now, you know. So I'm very excited to see these books, because I also think that this Paperbacks from Hell, like he explained in the video that he partnered up with a publishing company or whatever that's like this book or something like that, and then they chose to reprint or republish those books that he talks about in this book as standalone things and have their original covers on them. So again, I think this book will help me find some new books that I want to read, because truly, when it comes to horror books, I like really right now I can't tell you any names of anything I really read. Again, they all were in like a long time ago, and they were all like children's horror books, most of them, you know. So very excited to get this thing started, so let's just get into it. It's funny because, yeah, this bag is pretty heavy, and it's just like, oh, it's usually electronics, but no, it's actually books. So let's get the big one out first. Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. Look at that. Yeah, so the twisted history of 70s and 80s horror fiction. Very, very cool looking. And that's the back. Written in dead letters and covered in blood. Now this is something I could get into, you know? So this looks really nice. Very interested in this. This looks really cool. So yeah, so this is the book I was talking about that goes into the different covers and things from you know, from the 70s and 80s horror fiction. I want to read this whole thing. Obviously this one I don't think is like a novel. I think this is more like a, you know, a book that's showcasing a whole bunch of things. So we'll see how, you know, maybe read it from back to front. But that's the reason I didn't only get this one, is because I want to get a novel. So since this guy interests me so much with his obsession with these 70s and 80s horror covers, I was very interested in seeing a book that he wrote himself. So the second book I ordered is My Best Friend's Exorcism. So here's the cover. This right here, this looks awesome. This looks really, really cool. Here you go. Yeah, like this cover just looks so good. This just looks so good. That's why I have zero idea what this is about. Like I literally just read some of it, like some of this like tagline. This tagline is awesome. I'm already super excited for this thing. This looks fun. This looks really fun. And that's the thing, is like that's kind of what the video is explaining. It's just like, you know, that feeling of being in, you know, going to a bookstore or whatever it is and picking out a book and having something in your hand and like, oh, like that looks cool, and you want it just because it looks cool. And it's like literally I just picked this because I was buying this one, and on the recommended they had another one of this book there. I saw this cover, I was like, oh, it's been written by the same guy. So, and it seemed like a novel, so I was like, oh, I actually want to read what he can do, you know, because he's talking about the history of stuff. So very interested in seeing this. I'm super happy about these 2 books, you know. These are the 2 books I got. Very interested in seeing. Like the other great thing about this, I'm not the best reader ever. These look like some easy reads. These look like a great fun time. Yeah, I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. Hopefully the point of this is to spark me to read more of this fun stuff. So maybe as I soften up to reading again, I could open my eyes up to, you know, reading some more heavier things, because I definitely just want to get back into it, you know. I think it's a great place to start, and yeah, super excited. So there you have it. So that's what I've done recently. Very excited, like I said many times. If you guys have read this book or either one of these books, or know anything about horror novels and stuff like that, and you want to recommend me to read anything, please let me know in the comments, because I'm genuinely curious. I haven't even looked up like best horror books of all time. You know, I know Stephen King's a huge thing, which I kind of want to stray away from, because it's kind of like I've seen a lot of the stories, but again, I'll get into it. I'll definitely read it for myself, you know. But right now, I definitely just want to have some fun and just, you know, read the campy, crazy, fun stuff that this looks like it is. But again, you could recommend whatever you want, and let me know if you guys ever read these books, and, you know, tell me your opinion on them. Maybe I would make a video about my review on this stuff, like after, you know, having it for a while. So maybe stay tuned for that. So if you guys are not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. You know, I make a lot of horror stuff here on this channel. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.